Power of Jesus, the use of parables. In many such parables, he spoke the word to them as they were able to understand. Without parables, he did not speak to them, but to his own disciples he explained everything in private. The power of Jesus, Mark chapter 4, verse 35. Power of Jesus. On that day, as the evening drew on, he said to them, "Let us cross the other side." Leaving the crowd, they took him with them in the boat, just as he was. And other boats were with him. A violent squall came up, and waves were breaking over the boat so that it was already filling up. Jesus was in the stern asleep on a cushion. They woke him up and said to him, "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?" He woke up and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, "Quiet, be still." The wind ceased and there was great calm. Then he asked them, "Why are you terrified? Do you not yet have faith?" They were filled with great awe and said to one another, "Who then is this whom even wind and sea obey?" Mark chapter 5, verse 1. Stronger than a legion of demons, they came to the other side of the city, the territory of the Gerasenes. When he got out of the boat, at once a man from the tombs who had an unclean spirit met him. The man had been dwelling among the tombs, and no one could restrain him any longer, even with a chain. In fact, he had frequently been bound with shackles and chains, but the chains had been pulled apart by him and the shackles smashed, and no one was strong enough to subdue him. Night and day among the tombs and on the hillside, he was always crying out and bruising himself with stones. Catching sight of Jesus from a distance, he ran up and prostrated himself before him, crying out in a loud voice, "What have you to do with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I adjure you, by God, do not torment me." He had been saying to him, "Unclean spirit, come out of the man." He asked him, "What is your name?" He replied, "Legion is my name. There are many of us." And he pleaded earnestly with him not to drive them away from that territory. Now a large herd of swine was feeding there on the hillside, and they pleaded with him, "Send us into the swine, let us enter them." And then he led them, and the unclean spirits came out and entered the swine. The herd, of about 2,000, rushed down a steep bank into the sea, where they were drowned. The swine had ran away and reported the incidents in the town and throughout the countryside. And people came out to see what had happened. As they approached Jesus, they caught sight of the man who had been possessed by legion, sitting there, clothed in his right hand. They were seized with fear. Those who witnessed the incident explained to them what had happened to the possessed man and to the swine. Then they began to beg him to leave the district. As he was getting into the boat, the man who had been possessed and pleaded to remain with him, but he would not permit him, but told him instead, "Go to your family and announce to them all that the Lord in his pity has done for you." Then the man went off and began proclaiming the Decapolis what Jesus had done for him, and all were amazed. The power of faith and prayer. The coming of Elijah. As they were coming down the mountain, he checked them not to let what they had seen. Mark chapter 9, verse 9. As they were coming down the mountain, he checked them not to relate what they had seen to anyone, except when the Son of Man had risen from the dead. So they kept the matter to themselves, questioning what rising from the dead meant. And they asked him, "Why do the scribes say that Elijah must come first?" He told them, "Elijah will indeed come first and restore all things, yet how is it written regarding the Son of Man that he must suffer greatly and be treated with contempt? But I tell you that Elijah has come, and they did not. They did to him whatever they pleased, as it is written of him." The power of faith and prayer. When they came to Jesus, to the disciples, they saw a large crowd around them as scribes arguing with them. Immediately on seeing him, the crowd was utterly amazed. They ran up to him and greeted him. He asked them, "What are you arguing about with them?" Someone from the crowd answered him, "Teacher, I have brought to you my son possessed by a mute spirit. Wherever it seizes him, it throws him down. He foams at the mouth, grinds his teeth, and becomes rigid. I asked your disciples to drive it out, but they were unable to do so." He asked to them in reply, "O faithless generation, how long will I be to you? How long will I endure you? Bring him to me." They brought the boy to him, and he saw him, and the spirit immediately threw the boy into convulsions. As he fell to the ground, he began to roll around and foam at the mouth. Then he questioned his father, "How long has this been happening to him?" He replied, "Since childhood. It has often thrown him into fire and into water to kill him. But if you can do anything, have compassion on us and help us." Jesus said to him, "If you can, everything is possible to one who has faith." Then the boy's father cried out, "I do believe, help my unbelief." Jesus, on seeing a crowd rapidly gathering, rebuked the clean spirit and said to him, "Mute and deaf spirit, I command you, come out of him and never enter him again." Shouting and throwing the boy into convulsions and came out. He became like a corpse, which caused many to say, "He is dead." But Jesus took him by the hand and raised him, and he stood up. And when he entered the house, his disciples asked him in private, "Why could we not drive it out?" He said to them, "This kind can only come out through prayer." Amen.